Oh boy, oh boy. Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of High Top Sports. Happy Sunday to all of you out there. We got the final scrimmage game that happened yesterday. We're going to talk about that. The best news, the most fantastic news that you can have. No serious injuries, none at all. I say serious because it's boot gate all over. Everywhere you look, everyone's wearing a boot. But nothing happened at the scrimmage to cause any more reason for concern, which is always a W in my book, especially when running back for Alabama just broke his collarbone, was out for about 6 to 8 weeks. Like, that's how serious this can be. So, thankful that didn't happen. The boys might be heating up on the recruit trail a little bit. We're going to talk about it. Number one defensive lineman, James Johnson, how that's playing out. Brian Womack, who has been Ohio State lean this entire time, he might have a home. We'll talk about that. A great little tidbit from Cameron James that I want to dive into. Found it very interesting, his thoughts, his take on this past season. And, you know, when the season's going 100 miles an hour, there's things you don't notice. And something he brought up that I recalled once he brought it up, but we'll get into it. Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe. Good to see you, all of y'all. Also, to this show is brought to you by Odds Jam. We'll talk about that later on in the show. Link is in the description. Ladies and gentlemen, Cody the Prof joins us here on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Cody, how you doing, big guy?
Oh, can't complain. Smoked some ribs today, hung out at the house, recovered from the long day yesterday. That's my no sleep day. So,
yeah, it is.
I go straight from work, ball game. I took a 2-hour nap. That got me through probably about 72 ounces of Red Bull. And then we went to supper because Bubby got a big win. Big sack.
You went to dinner.
Yeah, supper. Big sack for Bubsky and absolutely dominate, put on a clinic on the offensive line.
Bubs even celebrated when got Madden today for his big sack. So good
We're
for him.
We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about why my credit card is linked to the Xbox. Had me fuming at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh boy. Boys and girls, good to see you. Appreciate y'all tuning in on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Look, here's the good news too. Some more fantastic news. This is the last weekend without college football. We've officially made it. We even had Your Season's Over by Uncle Lou. We're in it at this point. We've got football. We've got Iowa State on Saturday, right? Which you call
in Ireland.
Is it Iowa State?
It's Iowa State, Kansas State.
You said
Ireland.
You wanted to talk about on our college game day show, which we'll talk about on Thursday, about that being the potential Big 12 matchup. You're crazy, kid.
Possibly.
You're crazy. We'll talk about it on Thursday. Make sure you guys tune in for that. Obviously, tomorrow we have our Monday Mashup College Football Show, which we'll be talking about a ton of things on there. But that kicks off in the morning at 9:25 usually. So if you guys are wanting to get more of us, tap into that. We love having you guys tune in for all those good things. My comment section is not visible at the moment, boys. Give me a hot minute here. Here we go. We got a super chat here from Mr. Rick James. Says, "Cuh, I bet." I don't know what that's implying, but yeah, bet. I love it. All right, boys. 200 strong. Let's get after it. So we had our final scrimmage on Saturday. A couple things to go over. Obviously, DJ Lagway being the biggest one, did not participate in 11-11, which he has in this entire offseason. No big deal. But also did not participate on 7-on-7. Reason for concern? Nah, I don't think so. The one big thing is that Warner is now being back in the saddle. Apparently made some waves. It's between him and Trammell, which is crazy for Harrison Bailey, but it's between him and Trammell right now, it seems like, for that second position. Aiden Warner did some great things. The biggest thing that I took away from going over these notes was the defense is just playing at an all-time level. The linebacker room was turning heads. The defensive line was doing things special. The edge room, Cameron James, who we'll talk about a little bit later on a separate occasion. Jaden Woods has been a freak this entire time. In a previous interview, I can't remember who it was. We got the clips from Cam. Shout out Cam Parker for sending us the players' interviews. But I can't remember who said it, but Woods, he said Woods is a pro. Look, we've heard all great things about Jaden Woods this entire camp. And what excites me when I see, we hear about buzz, right? There's a difference between, in my opinion, there's buzz, there's excitement, there's anticipation, and then there's where I feel like we're leaning into that Woods era where he can be a Colin Simmons-like, a Harold Perkins-like, where they hit that football field and you're like, this guy's going to be special for years to come, and somebody who you just gravitate towards because they're so fun to watch. That is what Woods is starting to make me feel like. I think Wilson has that same potential just because of the position that he plays in. But with the room being as thick as it is, it'll all, depend. And also, too, with the injury that he's dealing with as well. I did get some word that things are moving very progressively for Dallas Wilson and should be good to go well before week 1. So, again, take that with a grain of salt. Again, it's just kind of what we're hearing behind the scenes here. But feeling really good about where everything is. I think the DJ Lagway status is still, from what I'm understanding, dealing with the calf situation. Again, the severity of it, I don't know. I don't think he's wearing a boot. But he's not wearing a boot. There was no reports of a boot. But all in all, healthy practice. Nobody got injured. And the defense continues to just do incredible things. And the running back room, I mean, they couldn't stop talking about Duke and Byron Lewis. I mean, when you're hearing those two guys, when we know who's on the slate for running backs, incredible stuff, Codes.
Yeah, I'd say it kind of makes sense. They know what they have in DJ Lagway. He's definitely been throwing to his wide receivers. I'm not worried about that. Obviously, he knows the playbook. I think they're just trying to figure out who quarterback 2 is, because that seems to have been an absolute war to figure out if it's, first it was Harrison Bailey, then it was Aiden Morton, and then now it's
I don't think it's ever been Harrison Bailey, to be quite honest with you. Going back to spring camp, it's never been Harrison. I think we all assumed it would be Harrison, but it hasn't been Harrison's at all.
Gotcha.
But
I thought because of the spring game, possibly he was kind of.
Oh no, Aiden Warner played a great game, man. Harrison was put into a position where which I liked what we saw, but they were down. The second team was, and Harrison kind of was able to let loose. Where Aiden Warner was staying true to your typical Billy Napier play calling, where check downs, run the ball effectively. Harrison and squad were playing down, so they were able just to play backyard ball and, hey, just sling it to number 6, and let's just get on the football field.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where I think they're just trying to get the 2s a lot of reps. I think that's 90% of it, is that they're trying to get that quarterback 2, whoever it is, as many reps as he can, because I think he's going to play a lot in the week 1 game. I think that's and possibly the week 2 game with South Florida. You get a big lead on them, you might as well pull the starters too.
We're going to need one. But yeah, again, and Scott O2O says on Dave's show, they said that Warner took the lead. And that's what we were alluding to as well, too. But Trammell has also moved into a very competitive second spot as well. Now, what does that mean? Because, we've, throughout this entire offseason, through this fall camp, we've read multiple reports, people's perception of Aiden Warner, of this quarterback room, that it being a massive drop-off. Again, from what I saw at the spring game, I was thoroughly impressed with Aiden Warner. My eyes, what I saw, I was happy with what I witnessed. I thought he was very composed in the pocket, stepped up very well, made great throws, had a good little spin to it. Again, it's much different, though, between practice and going through those reps and throwing you into a game. Again, that's where Harrison Bailey may have an edge. More of just a game-time guy. Guys can practice really well, but come the game time, it moves too quick. So there's that to take into consideration as well, too. I would love to know where the drop-off for Harrison is. Is it an understanding of the system? Because, again, from what I think both quarterbacks, they had a great outings in the spring game, all things considered. Keep in mind, that defense was very short-staffed. Jamari Lyons wasn't playing. Banks wasn't playing. I think a few more guys weren't playing. And that secondary was very young. I mean, think about it, that was for Banks, for Ben Hanks, for Hayward, for Stubbs. That was 3 months into college football, right? And you got to guard Dallas Wilson and a 5th-year quarterback. Like, that's what you're working with.
I also think if you give so if Trammell Jones and Aiden Warner are tied for that QB spot, I think you give it to Aiden. Let him get some tape out there for the possible NFL. Listen, Trammell Jones is a true freshman. You have plenty of time with him. There's no reason, unless he's the second coming of DJ Lagway, that he needs to be the number 2. It could be a 2A, 1A, 2B type deal.
This isn't make a wish.
Give the older guy.
No,
yeah.
This isn't make it wish. Give it to your best guy.
If they're both the same, just give it to the
I completely disagree. If they're both the same, I'd rather give it to the young guy so we're more prepared going into the following season. I
don't think it's gonna happen though.
I mean, look, I think if we know
Napier's
anything, Napier definitely sticks to. He's not one to push the envelope there. But again, I mean, Tramel Jones wasn't really a conversational piece. I didn't think we hear much about him, to be quite honest with you. Coming off an injury his senior year, didn't play a lot.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to hear his name be called a lot. I felt like it would have been very Max Brown-esque, like we knew we had a guy back there that was going to be exciting, but it's going to take some time. The fact that he is first year in, 8 months in this system, and going I mean, he should be. He's a 4-star quarterback. Aiden Warner is essentially a walk-on from Yale, and that's not a shot towards Warner. But Tramel Jones is recruited for a reason and had their stars for a reason. He's supposed to come in and be that effective, right? That's what he brings. Yep. Also, too, I think his athletic ability fits the system a little bit more.
Well, I think if you're down on anybody, you're a little down on Harrison Bailey. I mean, that was a 5-star quarterback at one time. He was supposed to be the second coming of, he's supposed to take that Tennessee program over and bring him back to the promised land. And obviously it didn't work out for whatever reasons. And he goes to Louisville. I mean, absolutely. But again, at Louisville was just out there slinging it, kind of freelance ball, backyard ball.
Yeah.
And I don't think Billy Napier wants that. I think Billy Napier wants to be on schedule. He wants you to hit the checkdowns. When he calls the deep shot, he wants you to hit it. He doesn't want you out there just slinging it all over the field. That's not his MO.
You gotta. I mean, I'm saying this from watching and talking a lot, right? From these with the players and whatnot, and going over it is, you've got to be able. He wants you to think. He wants you to feel the game, but you can't have one or the other. You got to have a little bit of both. And Bailey, probably is more of a feel kind of guy. Look, speaking again, I always say this: I wouldn't be a good recruit for Billy because I know when I go out and play golf, I'm a feel guy. I'm not a technical guy. I don't put lines in my balls. I'm not as boss. I'm not as probably as efficient as I could be because I definitely skip over the details. It's just like, hey, how we feeling today, baby? Could probably shoot a little better if I did, but that's just kind of how I've always been. This is a good point, man. I think it's something that we've talked about at times. Special teams we talk about. I don't talk about it. I wouldn't say enough. I don't know how many people want to get excited about special teams, but it's definitely an important piece that has been negatively affecting us for the last couple of years. It's made some strides. We've had some highlights from it last year for sure. Muddy says, I want to see who starts at kick return and punt return. Love Jacoby and Ball, but they don't need to be kick returning. Look, I think that's I think Jaden Ball are going to be back there. And it is very interesting that when you've got speed like Eugene Wilson, Tank Abrams, and Hawkins, like those guys kind of fit your typical mold from when you think of a punt return for Florida Gators. Brandon James was our running back for Florida, but was more of a scat back-esque. And so he worked back there because he had just blazing speed and acceleration. Ball has good top-end speed, right? Not the fastest. Very great agility, but I don't know if it's just a hands thing, just feels comfortable with hands and the ability to take those hits. But even when Ricky P was back there, I wasn't the biggest fan of Ricky Pearsall catching balls outside of the fact is the security of him catching them. But I didn't feel like I agree with Muddy. I feel from what we're hearing, like DeBron Hampton, the guys with the speed and the hands and the electricity that they bring to the table, I would like to see more of them back there. That would be a great question, I feel like, for Napier. Is like, hey, what is it that we're missing? Is it your style? Is it your approach? I feel from what we've watched for years of football, why not put your two fastest guys back there? What's the question mark? Put your Devin Heston back there. Let the rest do the work.
It's extremely tough to be a punt returner. Maybe not necessarily a kick returner. Those are a little easier to catch, but punt returning is hard, and a lot of people don't realize that.
I agree.
That ball,
kick
the
return,
way they punt,
I agree.
And you want it as safe as possible. Now, kick return, I want two Blazers back there. If you muff a kick return, you still have time to pick that thing up, okay? Punt return, I don't care if we don't have the fastest guy on there. I want the most reliable guy. And because that can absolutely flip a field for the bad way. We've seen it where, I remember maybe during the playoff game, Texas, they're lightning in a bottle speedster. He muffed one at like the 10 and gave it to Arizona State at the 10-yard line for a big touchdown. You got to have somebody. Speed is great. You got to have somebody that you believe that can can
Yeah,
get
but
the
these are
job
wide
done
receivers, Cody. If
in
they
and out.
can't catch a punt return and a kick return, I'm supposed to trust them to catching a football on the football field? Like, I get,
Well, it's a little
I
it's a
think
little
it's
different.
more of getting leveled. I think it's more of the little guy standing there just ready to get popped more than the hands play. Because if you can't handle the pressure of catching the football, like, you shouldn't be on the football field in the first place. Like, I disagree with that perspective. Again, that's what doesn't make any sense to me, because I want a guy
Some
back
kids
there
have
that
never
can
done
turn
it,
the
though.
football field over. We haven't
Yeah,
had that in a couple years now.
If you look, even in the NFL, we still have people. When you talk about receivers, right? We still have people that are punt return specialists. Like there's a roster spot to be a punt return specialist if you're really, really good.
Sure.
You know, if you're like
Devin Hester made a
out.
career out of it.
Yeah.
We have guys like that.
Cordell Patterson, another guy like that, right?
We have guys. We're not using them. That's what I'm saying. We have those guys.
I think it's a security thing. I could see a change.
Imagine putting Derrick Henry. I think he does at times for kick returns. Not anymore, but Matt, that's what we're doing.
I agree, especially on kick return. Punt return, it's whoever you feel most comfortable with. Kick return for sure. I want a Blazer back there, but half the time those kids don't even catch the ball anyway. It's in the back of the end zone. I mean,
punt return, I think, is more where, again, Eugene Wilson, in my opinion, should be catching balls. That should be Eugene all day long. Because
unless he's terrible.
But again,
unless he's terrible at it.
But again, we've dealt with him getting absolutely leveled. So you've got to take that, like, and being injured. So I think there's just, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't even care if it's a cornerback that did it a bunch in high school. I mean, you look at some of these cornerback these tapes in high school, and they're punt returning all the time. I get that it's not the hang time of the SEC, right? But it's still, I mean, you're still catching a wobbly ball coming at you at a weird angle.
It Muddy makes his point. Look, Brandon James at Florida in 06 and 09 had the ball from the 30s to the 40s almost every possession because he was that good at returning. Like, that's a big thing we haven't had. Like, I remember Florida, it was every time they cut the ball back there, like, this might go back. That's where the level of special teams that Florida would. Yeah, we
haven't had that in years.
Yeah, I know. But I feel like we have the talent now back there that can make it happen. That's what I'm clamoring for. And look, I love Ball and Jacoby. They just don't.
Callaway. It's been since Callaway.
Tony, I think Tony was
or Powell. Brandon Powell was
Kadarius Tony.
Good,
Kadarius Tony was good. Gator Swag $5 says Florida goes 10-2 and Georgia 8-4. Sorry, Lou. I don't hate it, boys. Boys and girls, 370 strong in here. Smash the like button. Let YouTube know that we're doing a good job. I much appreciate it. Yeah, Percy Harvin was an absolute. I mean, that's a cheat code. I mean, it's
like Devin Hester.
That to me is what Eugene could be. Again, I think Percy played with his head cut off, but
a guy that hasn't been able to stay healthy. So that takes a factor.
I mean,
all these speed guys.
Top 5 speed guys was Mazzell, DeBron, Tank, and Hawkins. None of those guys are back there. That's what I said, Mizell.
There too.
That's what I said, Mizell.
No, Caden Daniels.
Oh, Caden. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right.
And that's where he needs to probably be to get him some extra touches.
I would be okay with that too.
I think that they should use Caden. Now, obviously, we're not getting paid $20 million or $10 million or however much it is a year to coach college football, right? But I even said it back a little bit. I don't want Lagway run the ball. Go Caden Daniels. He did it in high school. Direct snap Wildcat for all of your quarterback runs. Who cares if they know it's coming? They knew it was coming in high school and they couldn't stop that kid. That kid's lightning in the ball. He's if he gets some touches, stays healthy. We thought Jaden Ball was good. Watch out. This kid's absolutely electric.
I think we've got enough talent in that running back room because those guys are built to take hits. So they can go back there. They would be what Brandon James was, right? Like that's what that was.
I don't want Ball back there.
I don't want Ball back there. No. Why? Yeah. Like he's in my opinion, he's not giving you, the only thing he's giving you is security of catching the ball. Kick returns, if your guy can't catch a ball, then he shouldn't be on the football field. But he's not going to give you the possibility of getting 10 extra yards. He just doesn't have. I mean, he's shifty, but when you got 90 dudes, it's just different. I need someone to shoot out of a cannon. Etienne was good back there. I didn't mind Etienne. I think he was a good fit. He was a shoot out of a cannon type of running back. We talked about this. Go ahead. Sorry.
We talk about a guy like the walk on. I'm
DeBron.
He's slipping my name. DeBron Hampton. That is a perfect job for DeBron
Yeah.
Hampton.
No, I've been saying that.
But
Yeah.
he's got to go out. But like I tell Bubby, you earn your playing time in practice. And if you're not holding up in practice doing it, they ain't gonna let you on the field.
JB says, heard the LSU O-line was struggling. We talked about this in one of our college game day shows, that it was pretty adamant that it was having its issues. It was the best or the worst unit on the football field. Now, since then, it's been written about much better, much more positivity. Brian Kelly came out and said that it was the best offensive line he's seen. I think I saw somewhere. I don't know how much credit. Yeah, that's crazy though. That's a hell of a take. But it's very young. I look, when you and I were going back and forth on where we should rank them, that is an extremely. We're going to talk about Florida's O-line here, just how many snaps there are in a bit, but it is an extremely young offensive line, a line that gave up 7 sacks last year with a first round draft pick in Will Campbell at left tackle, and that's now gone, which is Garrett Nussmeier's blind side. And again, a reason why Nussmeier struggled last year was because they had to lean heavily towards him throwing the ball. Once you took away their ability to run the ball, they've got a great running back, but if they can't run, it doesn't really matter who's back there. And he struggled mightily towards the end of the year.
And here's the thing, not to get strung out on LSU ball, but Brian Kelly could have walked into the defensive lineman's room, the edge and defensive line coach's room, and said, "Hey, can you back the dogs off a little bit? Our O-line is not getting any self-confident playing you guys every day.
Oh, you sound like Auburn now.
Back it off. Just let's let them build their self-confidence." And then he comes out with, "Yeah, they look the best offensive line that I've ever had." Okay, I believe that. I mean, it's Brian Kelly. When he's talking, he's lying. He's a politician.
It's just so greasy watching him, isn't it? Clint says, rewatch a Tennessee game this AM with my coffee. Love that. We looked good. Just had a few hiccups. Man, that game, we should have won that football. Like, I hate saying that because Lou loves to make fun of us. The Georgia game, I don't die on the hill as much as, like, if DJ doesn't go down, we don't win that game. I believe that we would have. Look, we were tied up with 7 to go. So Aiden Warner went in there and kind of did his thing. But yeah, could we our chances have been higher with DJ? 100%. We should have won the Tennessee football game. There, like I have nightmares about that game. When we win that game, who knows how other games fall into place, because the confidence changes dramatically from that.
I remember somebody saying go for 2 and got absolutely roasted for about a week and a half, and then we all felt like we should have went for 2.
I remember it. Just the reason I roasted you for it was I'm not a huge. It's very easy to sit there after the fact and be like, "Yep, I said we should have done this."
Oh, trust me, I was screaming it into my TV. This is what's going to be so great about the live cast, is you'll be able to hear.
And I don't think I gave you flack for it. I don't think.
Yeah. You said absolutely not. You said young quarterback, absolutely not. This is my thing with Tennessee.
Oh, that's right. Because we went to overtime, so we didn't lose the game.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I still live by that. I remember now. Yeah, it took us to overtime.
You have a young quarterback, ruckus environment. Go in there. You had a great offensive line. You could run the ball against them. You were running the ball great. Just draw something up.
The reason why I disagree with you, then I disagree with you now, is the reason we lost that game is we couldn't score in the red zone. And we didn't score in the red zone when we went to tie it up. He threw like a 40-yard bomb in the football field. So, no, we hadn't been effective in the red zone all night. So, you just brought it up to lose again. You reminded me of why you lost.
Go for 2. Go for 2. We
lost
anyway. What's the matter?
Yeah, but it's easy to think after the fact. It's a lose-lose. A lose-lose. I love it. Let's talk about some future Gators here. Carson Baker, the touchdown maker, had himself a day.
The new touchdown maker.
Yeah, and in the first weekend of Friday Night Lights, those things were cooking. Jake Krull had a good night. I know you guys don't care about that, but he did. He was eating there over at IMG. I saw a few of his clips. He's fun to watch, so I enjoy watching him play. But excited to hear. What was Carson Baker's final stats on 15 carries again?
Like 126 and 2 touchdowns, I believe.
8.9.
Tote.
Yeah, man. And watching him run in these few clips here, I mean, he looks just like a typical Florida back, right? Just twitchy, patient, cuts, and then takes off and just busts through a hole and he's gone. You can't keep up with him. And I've said this when we recruited him, and I still think it stands true, is think about Florida's running back room, okay? Jaden Ball, once recruited as a linebacker, 3-star running back. Jacoby Jackson, pick him off the streets out of a JUCO, right? Then you go to Treon Webb, who was a 4-star back. It's knocked to a 3-star running back because he pisses off 247. Then you've got KD Daniels, who was a 4-star, but a very low 4-star back. And Byron Lewis, I believe, was a 3, kind of 4, right on the cusp, right? Lower end 4-star running backs. Carson Baker is a top, one of the highest rated running back that Billy has had since being here. Trevor Etienne was the second one. He's actually rated higher. The last I checked, things could change, so don't quote me on it. But when he committed, I remember looking it up and speaking to that. And I find it interesting because of just how much success this running back room has had. That this is the first legitimate one, right? Coming from high school. It's not a makeshift one. We just kind of found he plays running back too? Yeah, we'll take him.
Yeah, you got to remember Caden Daniels was a quarterback that played in like a veer. They played like the wishbone, a wishbone or a veer, or it was like direct snap. They ran the ball like he was Gatorade Player of the Year. I mean, usually that's a 5-star guy. All the past Gatorade Player of the Years are usually 5-star guys for Mississippi, for the state of Mississippi. So it's one of those things. Yeah, I'm excited about him. I love his speed. I love everything about Carson Baker, the new touchdown maker. And what I love the most is was interviewed after the game, and he doubled down on the Florida Gators. Said, "Yeah, there's been a little bit of people trying to get at me, but I'm a Gator. I'm locked in."
Yeah, look, and some people think it doesn't matter, but there's a lot of kids 100% committing to their schools, and we're still seeing people flip. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but again, there's a change in recruiting when these guys are locked in. They feel more locked in than before. I would say 80%, 85% more than it has, and I think a lot of it has to do with NIL deals. And part of that new agreement that happened over in August 1st, where you can sign NIL deals, I think there's more of a lock than there was before. Again, I don't know. I don't have enough data on it, but I believe that there is. Boys, Florida strong. Be sure to show some love, smash that like button. Let's talk about let's run the sponsorship for Odds Jam real quick. Shout out to them, and then we'll talk about something I've got that Q Lee mentioned here. People are making thousands every month betting on sports completely risk-free. The secret? They're using Odds Jam. Odds Jam isn't just another betting app. It's turning the entire system in your favor, and here's how. Odds Jam uses a strategy called arbitrage, finding odds discrepancy across a sports book. You bet both sides, and no matter the outcome, you will profit. Here's an example. If you bet $500 on Boise State to win on FanDuel and $335 on their opponent San Francisco on DraftKings, you're guaranteed to make $50 win or lose. It's that simple. With OddsJam's mobile app, you'll get real-time alerts on these opportunities every day. People are making thousands of dollars every month, and to get you started, use the code HIGHTOP for 35% off and a 7-day free trial. I guarantee you'll profit during the trial, and if you don't, cancel with one click. No questions asked. Don't leave money on the table. Go to oddsjam.com now, use the code HIGHTOP, and start making money the smart way. Yeah, buddy. OddsJams, boys. Pumped to partner with them. Pretty cool, I think, situation you can get yourself into. Rock and roll with it. Win some extra money this season. Not have to do much thinking, which is always fun. Q Lee brought up a good point, look, Shane Matthews, great quarterback for the Florida Gators. And look, when the data came out on his height and weight, I went and looked and compared him to like the Josh Allens, the Joey Burrows, the Herberts, the Patty Mahomes, those big quarterbacks that carry a lot of weight, that have big size. Josh Allen's, I think, one of the biggest ones in the NFL. And again, DJ sitting at 245, I think, 6'4", 6'3", 245. And Josh is like 230, about the same height. So, and Shane Matthews, I guess, spoke about him being a little too heavy. Look, for me to sit here and say that he is or isn't, I mean, I would be asinine to think that I have that knowledge. The one thing that I always point back to is the Tom versus Time segment, where Tom Brady is adamant about how he takes care of his body. But at the same time, his quarterback, the way that he played versus how it's played now is a little bit different. I would like to know what Cam played at his peak level. That would be interesting to note, because I always consider him to be a big boy when he played. Let's see. He was 6'5", 245. He did all right. he did all right. So look, for me, again, I think that everyone carries weight a little bit differently, but I will say that I think that's where somebody may maybe be alluding to these injuries. Again, it's a slippery slope when you start talking about that. For us to sit here and say that we, like, I mean, look at us. We're not even, we never sniffed 6'5" and 240 pounds, nor we will ever sniff that. I think Shane has a proper point, but I think the game has changed dramatically from when he played the game, that the style of quarterback and what's expected from you is a bit different. These edge rushers are much faster. You've got to be a little bit quicker and thicker to handle the hits, to get away, to kind of rip them off you. I'm not saying they had small dudes coming after Shane Matthews. They didn't. They had dudes coming after Shane Matthews as well too, but I think that the speed's a little bit different. You got to be more elusive than prior times anyways. Good. All right, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. No, it was lagging for a second. I thought you were, I was still hearing you. Yeah, I think, I think as long as it's not really hurting him, I don't think the weight is a problem. I think it's just, he's going through a tough strength and conditioning program. He's still growing. He's a young man. And listen, when you're pushing yourself, these little things are going to kind of pop up. I don't necessarily think it's a number thing. It's, he would be better. He wouldn't get injured if he was 225 or 235. I don't think the number really matters. I think
agree.
If he
Good
feels
point.
good at it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, again, I'm 5'11", right? So, some guys 5'11" can kind of float around that 190, 205 ish.
Okay,
that's heavy for me.
It's like
I can't sit there.
It's like this. When you trained for your Ironman, you probably had more soft tissue injuries than you've ever had in your life, correct?
No, I didn't do it. I didn't have any injuries at all.
You have no injuries?
No, I've been pretty fortunate, man. No, just riding a bike, running. I was lucky. I was lucky.
When I was powerlifting in the Marine Corps, I ran into a lot of soft tissue injuries, and it's just because of the amount of weight that I was throwing around for my frame. It was probably too much. And so those little tweaks and stuff, they happen. And listen, I wasn't playing quarterback for the University of Florida with a coach, possibly their life savings riding on the shoulders of a sophomore of college. You know what I mean? So I think they're just being very cautious. I think we've seen that all across the league though. It seems like every day we see a new player from a different team in the boot. You know what I mean? It's like boot.
Yeah,
game.
the
it's
boots.
like all these players.
Yeah,
it's the new thing of strength and conditioning is, they get a little tweak, put them in a boot. Culpepper was like 260, 265 playing for Minnesota.
He did all right.
Yeah, he's fine. I think the weight really helps you absorb some of these hits too.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, these boys are faster. They get to you a little bit quicker. You gotta be able to take the lickings.
DJ's not shredded up. He doesn't look like Anthony Richardson did. He's definitely got a thicker, denser build than what Anthony does.
Again, he doesn't look like, how like he has Kent, the 300 pounder. Like, it just looks different. Like, some guys wear weight a little bit differently too. It's a different 250, if you will. James Johnson, the number one defensive lineman. We've been following this recruitment for a while. Committed to Georgia, and then the bird gets hot. The Twitter app gets hot. Florida is making some moves. Insiders are like, "Yep, here we go. Here comes the big flip." And then he goes to Texas. I'm like, "Whoa, what?" This is and they also have Rodney Cleveland, who Florida was heavily in at one point. Kendall Gervil was somebody who we were concerned we were going to lose at Texas. If they would have got all three of them, by golly, we have been in some shambles. But James Johnson is one that Florida has not given up on and will continue to not give up on. And it looks like they have moved heavily back into the mix alongside Miami, which is really promising. I love that. It feels like something has flipped for Florida. I don't know, they went and they're kind of just going after their guys and doing what they want right now, which I like. It feels like they're in a really good place from recruiting. I've been saying that. Will they close the top 5 class? That part I don't know. That part is still remain to be unseen, just because of how they want to navigate this offseason. Again, Georgia, USC have 31 and 33 recruits. I don't know if Florida's going to go after that many recruits. So part of that is a younger team. If you want to try to maintain those guys, you really can't have room to go get 33 dudes. So all those things you get to take those into consideration. I'm going to look at more of again, if we get 26, 25 guys, is that quality at 92, 93, and you got a lot of blue chip guys that are going to be impactful for the next couple of years. That's what I want. And honestly, I feel like the last 2 years, Florida's done a better job of getting guys that can make impacts right away. LJ McCray, DJ Lagway. We're hearing a ton about Jaden Woods, Jaden Ball. That's what I want. I want guys.
Carson Baker.
Yeah, I mean,
Gonna be one.
that's what we all want, right? Guys that are going to be right. Think about Kermani. I mean, I'm not hating on Kermani, but was a number 1 recruit, top 25 player. It's taken him 3 years to get to the point where it needs to be. I mean, a lot of situations going on there, but go take your time. Go get just a handful of guys that are going to be ready to go and be impactful right away. Speaking of even the defensive line, has been a huge. Those guys in the interior have been huge. So excited for this James Johnson one. This is a big one. I think Florida needs to get after, and we're going to talk about the entire. Let's just transition because it's kind of perfect with the entire recruiting talk here. So Brother Womack was somebody who Florida was working towards as well too. Ohio State seemed to be the leader for a handful a bit, but now all of a sudden here comes Auburn. And look, Auburn has had a bumpy recruiting class thus far. They've struggled a bit, so they've got probably a little extra cheddar lying around to go make some moves on some big time guys. This doesn't surprise me. Auburn's, even though they're struggling, here's what I like about it though. Let's be honest with this Bronlin Walmack one, is because we know the situation at Auburn. And if there's a school where we could possibly pick apart later on, it's going to be Auburn, not Ohio State. So I don't mind this here. But some other guys to kind of keep an eye on for Florida, of course, James Johnson is one. Trenton Henderson is one that Florida still has not given up on, especially with the Jake Krull going to Oklahoma. That seems to be a lock. Definitely need another edge position. And I'm going to keep watching that cornerback room. Devin Jackson, who committed to Oregon, who was committed to Florida, is another one to continue to watch out for. And then the linebacker room. As we know, as a lot of us know, Isaiah Williams flipped once again from Ole Miss to FSU. Kind of a sad little story I read on the boards where apparently Ole Miss just ghosted him because he tore his ACL.
Got hurt.
Brutal times, boys. That's a dog-eat-dog world out there. So he commits to FSU, but the reason I bring it up is because Florida, who's had a healthy recruiting class in the linebacker stand for the last couple of years, has yet to get one yet, if I'm not mistaken. But DQ Forkba is still another one on the list that was favored to go to Florida a couple months ago when he was set to commit, and that's still on hold. So those are a few names that I'm going to keep an eye on for that I think Florida needs to land in this class for it to be a completely healthy class. If you get one more D lineman, an edge guy, and then a safety and corner or safety, either one of them, those guys, that's what we need to close in on.
Yeah, you ain't got to worry about Womack going to Auburn because Hugh Freeze's going to be gone by week 8. So there's a couple Auburn War Eagle, Tiger, whatever they are, things that I got circled on the list Billy Napier needs to go after, and a couple that we were really hard after last year too. Remember, just because you're the bridesmaid, when they hit the transfer portal, it all comes down. Just like Pup Howard was at South Carolina for a year, came back around. So there's a couple dogs on the defensive line that I really want from Auburn, and then obviously the safety if he does commit to Auburn. If I'm him, I just hold off. I just wait till games are played. I don't even make a commitment because his talent is only going to get better probably with him starting football this week and his senior season, and Auburn's football is going to go down week after week when Hugh Freeze gets fired week 7 or week 8. Hot take, I think that will be the first Power 4 coach fired.
I thought you were going to
season. They will have the first interim coach in the Power 4 level.
Great take. I'm sorry to interrupt. I thought you were going to talk about our topic for tomorrow's show. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't get ahead. We're going to talk about which quarterback loses his job first tomorrow's show. I saw from SEC Mike. Great topic. I was like, yeah, we got to talk about that. That's a fun one.
Can we just say there's preseason football on and we still have 440 strong?
Preseason football is, I can't stand it. It's like cool. I
love it.
It's cool for 5 minutes and then I'm over it. But yeah, man, look, I think that Florida has done a good job. You never want to be the bridesmaid, but Florida has done a great job of being the bridesmaid. They've got their list of dudes lined up, and they've done well, if you will. So that's,
you know what though, they've always circled back. Jason Zamandela is one that went to USC.
Jameer
that
Grimsley,
we were heavy
they've done a good job finishing second.
Grimsley, Cormani
Dallas
McClain, Dallas Wilson, Pup Howard. There's more. I know there's more. I just can't think of them. But that's 5 right there.
Mabachu. I mean, he didn't commit to Texas, but that was definitely one where we stayed strong and it paid off in the long haul. Let's talk about this really quick, man. Quick, and then we're gonna wrap it up. We got Ty. Sorry, man. I told you 9:05, but Cody and I are rocking and rolling here. Hopefully, you're good. He's good. Okay, cool. We got our show that we shoot for tomorrow. Cameron James, going through this, and shout out to Zach. I've already kind of wrote it up. Actually, Zach, Cam, all of them wrote up a great article from his presser, and it was a great perspective. I think Jamari Lyons had a great story too. Go read Cam's story on that one. Asked a great question. He alluded to a little bit on Wednesday, but I love this because the edge room has obviously had a ton of drama with Jack Pyburn and TJ Searcy leaving. And Cameron James is one of my favorite guys. I love watching him. He just flies all over the football field, and he's not on the field a lot, but when he is on the field, he's effective. He's impactful. And it is crazy, but I didn't realize this going into last year. When you again think about it, Justice Boone was supposed to be the guy last year. It feels so far ago, but Boone time was supposed to be the guy at edge. And obviously that fell through pretty quickly. But Cam James got the start. He got the nod on that defensive line room. And think about that. Think about Cam James and Justin Boone were your 1-2, and how the room ended up by the end of the year, where it was Tyreek Sapp having a historic season where he could have went pro and had a 8 very well, to now being a top 5 first rounder who was second fiddle to a sophomore in Cameron James week 1 through 4, right? And how both guys, and he talks about that, how Sapp didn't hang it up and just say F it. He buckled down and made him who he is, and now he's one of the most feared edge rushers in the SEC. And Cam James said this: envy can be the death of players. I could have hit the portal. You can't do that. You got to stay down and grind. And talked about how he handled being benched, how he handled being kind of pushed to the side of like, look, I kind of saw Sapp when I got the nod. He didn't quit. So, and he was playing better than me. He deserved it. He earned it. That's the kind of players that I love to hear. You love hearing that. And again, those are small little nuances. What I'm excited about going into the season is that, what do we always say, Cody? Battle tested. These things right here are how you're able to overcome those big games, those big stretches. When we talk about the gauntlet, those 4 or 5 games that Florida has in the middle of the season, is how do you navigate through that? Just like this mindset that Cameron James is expressing here. And again, they kind of fiddled out the guys that didn't want to be a part of it. And not to poop on Pyburn, but I'm going to poop on Pyburn a little bit. Again, we don't know all the details. So you got one side saying this and another side saying this. But I think we can kind of read in between the lines that he wanted to make sure that he had a spot. And it sounded like you got to earn your spot, big killer, because these guys are coming in there. And he's like, I don't think I have to do that. And if I deserve this amount of money, blah, 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 blah. It's like, you're not that guy. You're not that guy, pal. We got some guys that are close on your heels. And we want to keep this room as healthy and as thick as possible. And he didn't want part of the smoke. And again, one of the best for him. I get it. But at the end of the day, everyone wants the best for themselves. Make it the best for yourself. Don't fold away.
I'll say this. This is something that is I've been watching, and it's not even a Florida player. It's actually a Georgia Bulldog. Got drafted 5th round by the Minnesota Vikings, named Tyron Ingram Dawkins. He played for Georgia, not a big name, played defensive tackle, was absolutely just buried on the roster. Think about all the great, defensive tackles that they've had year after year. Stuck it out, got a little bit of game time, and got drafted just off of the little bit of game time off of his film. Now he's probably going to earn a number 2 or 1B starting role with the Minnesota Vikings because they love him. Just stay where you're at. Keep grinding. If you are good, the scouts will find you, especially at a power program. If you're 3 or 4B at Florida, you probably can still have a chance of making the league if you flash when your time is allowed. If you go to Western Kentucky or some smaller school, you'll probably get slept over. And for these, especially defensive linemen, where guys are always getting ankles rolled, and that it's a brutal sport in the trenches. I mean, how many rotations have we had on defensive line and offensive line because guys just get nicked up left and right? You will have time to shine. Keep grinding, and like our big man Cameron James, don't be envy because you're not the starting guy. Listen, there's a lot of backup guys that get starting roles in the NFL and have less tread on the tires, less injuries because those starting guys took all the abuse, and then you're blooming right at the right time, like Ingram Dawkins did.
Look, man, this room excites me, and you need a great edge room in this league for sure. Tyreek Sapp, if he's just does 75% of what he did last year,
Great.
going to be impactful. LJ stepping
Great
up,
point.
Jaden Woods, George Gums. Go ahead.
Great point, Austin. Right here says NFL scouts come to UJ all the time to watch practice. Hey guys, they come to Florida. They go everywhere. Those scouts know that's their only job. Their only job is to make $100,000 a year, fly around and find talent. If you're at a Florida and listen, that's a nice thing too. When you have a first round draft pick, there's been 20 or 30 cases where scouts have gone to games and gone to practices to look at one guy, and then you are flashing like we see these guys are flashing in practice. He says, "Oh, 25. Who are you? I'm gonna put you down. I'm gonna watch your film." Hey, those scouts know they're not going to be fooled, and that's when you can get a really good guy in the 5th, 6th, 7th round. Listen. Your goal as a scout isn't to just hit on the first round picks. Your goal is to go get guys like Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen, guys that are undrafted free agents or drafted very low, and they just pop.
Aaron Donald's drafted low too, right?
Yeah, Aaron Donald, a guy that was on a sus team, but you know what? They had some talent around him, and then he got picked up from the talent around him. Listen, there's going to be a lot of scouts at these Florida. Everybody wants to see DJ Lagway.
Yeah, especially now. You've got a lot of NFL talent. Yeah,
everybody wants to see the next offensive tackle of the future. And why am I?
Fletcher?
Austin Barber and
Jake Slaughter.
Who's the other? Jake Slaughter. There will be plenty of scouts at these Florida practices. When the scouts are there, turn it on, and you will find your way to the NFL.
No doubt. Last little bit, people were talking Florida can start 5-0. Look, you hear that, you go, "Oh, that's a little crazy," right? Let me run through this really quick. We know I like to pump sunshine, but I want to play this out in my head how I look at this. LIU, W. USF, W. Then you go to LSU. First big game on the road. LSU's going to be coming off of a massive game against Clemson. They're going to have a little bit of shakiness to them. They could have a little bite to them too. But they've been kind of rattled, right? They're going to be the first game for Florida to really go out and make a stand. And you're going to be able to possibly catch a team maybe in a little bit of identity battle. And you're going in where kind of ignorance is bliss, that you haven't been tested. You're going with a little momentum. And again, I think you got the battle tested from last year that you can carry over. It can help you get this W. There's 3-0. You're rolling into Miami to that game that's personal. Those guys are going to go in there like they went to FSU last year and make a point of it. So you get through LSU, that Miami game is just going to be, okay, let's just rock and roll. Then you go back home. So now you're coming back home to Florida, 4-0, after taking down LSU and Miami. That place is going to be going absolutely berserk. And you got a freshman not a freshman, but a newly aged quarterback in Arch Manning, a young line that's having some issues too, that could get walloped against Ohio State, maybe have some identity issues
running
too.
Back room is sus.
It's not as crazy as it appears. Things got to go your way. Ball's going to bounce your way. I get it. But the way that it could fall, if you could take advantage of how it's tiered up, could get sexy. Could get sexy for the boys.
Can I just say this real fast?
You can say whatever you want, Cody.
Well, So I'm gonna say this with LSU. Yes, they're gonna go and play a top contender the first game, but that's gonna be a 10-round knockout drag-out fight. Clemson is very, very. You're not going to play Texas Tech and a finesse team. They want to run the ball. They want to get in your face. They want to hit hard. It's a Dabo team. And I feel better coming off of a 3-week or a 2-week fluffer than I do playing Clemson week 1, and get my teeth knocked in
for some blood.
4 quarters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is the Swamp's going to be nuts if Florida rolls in there 4-0. That place is going to be like you've never heard it before, boys. Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe. Good to see you. We'll see you guys live tomorrow at 8:05 with Stephen Harris for Champs Corner, boys and girls. And look, it's college football week. We've made it.
Yep.
Enjoy it. Let's soak it all in. Let's enjoy this season day by day.
Shout out to some former Gators, Stephen Harris, both his boys started U12 football this week. And then I think Chris Rainey, his son, started
let's
U12
go.
football this week.
Swamsy kicking, boys.
Hey, Florida little baby Gators hatching. Okay, one of those kids might be the next great one.
Y'all be good, boys and girls. The Prof, Shelton. Till next time. Peace and love, baby.